Welcome back to year number 3, week number 1 of the GGBFL, featuring the OKC Bison. But hold on a second. Let's take a look at what happened in the offseason. The NFL draft, free agency, some signings, some trades. Let's check it out. Now, as a little recap, we had the Super Bowl. The Dreadnoughts ended up being the Thunderbirds. It was a blowout, and then it got a whole lot quicker a whole lot closer towards the end. And then we have Sam Howell being the Super Bowl MVP. The Mervin McMurvin MVP ends up being Aaron Donald of the Louisville Antlers. So big shout out to Cosmic Wombat for winning that award. Your trophy's in the mail. And in a future episode, I'll show you guys what that trophy looks like because it's brand new. It's a little bit different than what we've had in the past, and I think it is probably the best trophy we've had by far. Now, in terms of the in-game awards, your MVP is going to be Terry McLaurin. Coach of the Year goes to Curtis II of the Blues. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Terry McLaurin because he balled out this year. Defensive Player of the Year goes to the Mervin McMurvin MVP, Aaron Donald. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Trevor Winters, who torched us every time we played him. And your Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Tevin Chambers of the Aviators. All around, it was a great season in 2024, but let's talk about what's going on next. Now, free agency finished, and I actually forgot to show you guys what the actual free agency screen looks like with all the different signings. So we're going to talk about some of the big ones right now. So I was kind of in on a couple of big free agents, but ultimately I didn't get really the guys that maybe we wanted as much, but I did sign strong safety Jordan Battle as kind of a backup guy, 6 years, $25 million. He probably will be next up for us in that area. We have Ryan Wright, who's a punter. Really excited about that one. We got a right end and Adebore, who honestly doesn't seem crazy, but he's got really good speed and strength. So I think he might be kind of a project for us. And then a right guard in Spencer Brown. So really free agency for us was about depth, but there were some big moves across the league. The biggest one is Daniel Jones on a 1 year, $3 million contract. Okay, no one cares about him. Let's talk about a real big one, folks. Now, the Tigers ended up landing a pretty good contract overall for Najee Harris. 4 years, $35.5 million. They also get Shaquille Barrett on a 3-year deal and Brandon Cook. So they honestly got some nice moves there. The Oilers, in my opinion, had probably one of the best off seasons. They ended up signing Deion Jones on a 2-year deal. They get some good depth across the board for their offensive line. But really what we want to talk about is what they did here at the top. DJ Moore on a 4-year, $104 million contract. It is a massive deal for a dude that should be a big-time playmaker for Houston. They end up getting John Johnson the third on the 2-year deal. They get Cole Kmet on a 5-year, $70 million deal. They get Jack Sanborn and Ambry Thomas. Again, they get some additional depth as well, but they really found a way to increase their offense, increase their defense, and just fill in some gaps their team needed. They should be a playmaker next year. The Aviators have felt really like a team that's really close to getting into the Super Bowl. They've made the playoffs both seasons and done really well, but they've got some good guys they signed this year. They get Drew Sanders, a really fast middle linebacker, for some good depth, 5 years, $32 million. They get Teron Armstead, obviously probably might retire after this season, but again, a guy that can shut down the left side of the line for you. Jadeveon Clowney, another guy on a 1-year kind of prove a deal towards the end of his career. They really kind of felt like the 49ers in the 90s where they signed all these free agents, really making a splash for that one season. We'll see if it pays off. Isaiah Oliver goes to the Dreadnoughts, Super Bowl champions, on a 2-year, $12 million deal. The Orbit signed Perion Winfrey to help their defensive line a bit. Stephon Gilmore on a 1-year prove-it deal, $18 million for the Thunderbirds. But again, if you get a corner like that, he's going to help out a ton. Derek Carr going to the Bulls. I mean, look, we've had Derek Carr before. We know he really ain't that guy, but it is what it is. A big deal here, though, $99 million for 6 years for Bradley Chubb. A huge deal there for the Redwoods. Rondale Moore going to the Black Knights. I feel like the Black Knights had a sneaky signing. Let's go ahead and look at their draft or their free agent really quick. So the Black Knights end up getting a lot of players that might not be on the top of the radar for people, but are going to be very good in Madden. Darrington Evans is a sneaky running back. He can be very, very good for him. He's got really good user skills, so I'm a little nervous about that. He gets Jonathan Cooper on a 2-year deal. He gets Braden Daniels, a right guard, on a 1-year deal. He signed a punter, which is a punter, but still, it's going to help him out. Monty Rice, a middle linebacker, who's a stud. I believe he was in the Dragons previously. Deuce Vaughn, another running back. It can be shifty for him. Kellen Mond, we saw what he did when he had, I believe, Taysom Hill as his quarterback doing that sort of QB read option. This could be another one of those guys for him that comes in and sort of package situations and really dominates. He filled out his offensive line. He gets a free safety. Rondale Moore, we just talked about. TJ Edwards in an $81 million 4-year deal towards the end of his career, but still, a guy that can impact your defense in a really good way. Now, in the offseason, GGBFL, there are always a wild amount of trades. I'm going to be honest, we made some trades on our side, too. We had a pretty big trade here with the Lumberjacks, and that honestly was to help us get the 6th overall pick. They were sitting in a really good spot. We already have pick number 15. We're about to do the NFL draft, and I wanted to try to get back into the top 15 area. So we ended up giving up Cameron Mitchell, Cole Holcomb, Thayer Munford, who was their backup right tackle, with a 1st rounder, a 2nd rounder as well. And again, we have multiple picks. And that gets us the 6th overall pick in this draft, which again, I feel good about. We only had to give up a first rounder from next year's draft, and we still have 2 in next year. So I feel great about that. We also made a trade with the Redwoods here. We give up a second rounder. We also trade them Clellan Ferrell and Marlon Humphrey. I know what you're saying. Marlon Humphrey is your top corner. I get it, but I needed a little bit of youth there, and I wanted some help in our defensive line. We get Gordon Toon, who's like a 77 overall right end with a star depth trait. Trent McDuffie, who's like 24, 25, super talented right now, is at an 83, 84 overall. Will have a high ceiling. And then we're also seeing what we can do from there. We move on. We have a trade with the Tigers. We end up trading Jahmyr Gibbs. I know what you're saying. You're trading a top running back. My problem with Jahmyr, though, is he kept getting hurt. So we got Jahmyr Gibbs up out here, and we ended up getting Devontae Wilbur from the Tigers as a big move here. I feel really good. I think we're going to be in a good spot. We ended up getting Malcolm Toller, which we used in another trade, I believe, if I remember correctly. But Devontae Wilbur will be a stud for this team. He's a power back. He's a little bit slower than Jahmyr Gibbs as our most running backs. But if we can get his speed up a little bit, he's going to be deadly with Lamar in the backfield. Now we're kicking off with the NFL Draft Live. You guys aren't going to see this on the stream or whatever. We do this off stream because I don't want people seeing my scouting and what I've ultimately done. But again, we have pick 6 and 15 in the first round. Pioneers have pick 1. They go Evan Selvey, the right end out of South Carolina, who is apparently a very, very good player. They have the second pick, and I believe they have pick number 7 as well. So they have 3 of the top 7 picks, which, again, they didn't have a good season last year, but when you have this many top picks, you're poised to do better as long as you're hitting on those draft picks. And then the Pioneers come out here and get Cam Cole. Cam Cole, I'm going to be honest, is a guy that I was hoping might fall to me at pick number 6, but he goes number 2. Some people have compared him to Dion. They both went to Florida State. They're similar height, similar weight. He's got really good intangibles. We'll see how good he is for the Pioneers. I might have been tripping. I think he actually had pick 1, 2, 3, and 7, which crazy. He gets Lonnie Downs at pick number 3, former Cascade Valley Coyote, making his way into the GGBFL. We see Zeke Thurman go at 4. Oh my God, this is getting crazy. I don't know who I'm going to pick at 5 or 6. So the Riverhawks ended up going Taylor Holloway, who was really who I had on my board left at this point. But there is a guy that I want to get from Cascade Valley that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to. We need a right outside linebacker, some outside linebacker help. I think I know just the guy. I've been scouting like crazy, and Stephen Lowe from Cascade Valley was listed as a potential undrafted free agent, but chose as a top 5 talent after doing 100 scouting for him. He's 6'4", he's 240. He looks like the type of guy that we need. A for block shedding, pursuit, tackle, and zone coverage in this draft class. This is the guy that we're taking. Welcome Stephen Lowe from Cascade Valley to Oklahoma City. We're ready for you. And Lowe ends up being a hidden depth trait. We get 91 acceleration, 85 speed. I'm here for this as an outside linebacker. We'll see what his overall ratings are after the draft, but this feels like a really good pick for me. Now, we just finished the GGBFL draft, and things were pretty crazy. Again, I'll show you some of our draft picks or recap some of the top picks, but there were some wild players in this. Evan Selvey went 1. The right end was a 78 overall. Cam Cole goes number 2 and 81 overall. So he got an incredible first 2, and he has a 3rd pick as well. He is an 80 overall receiver. So he went 80, 81, 78. On his first 3 picks. That is kind of disgusting. Zeke Thurman was the highest rated quarterback in the draft. He ends up going 4th overall to the Memphis Steamers. You see Holloway, a guy that I thought maybe would fall to me at 6. He did not. He went 5th. He was an 81 overall left end, but I did my research. I looked. We found Stephen Lowe from Cascade Valley. We got him to be an 81 overall dude with 85 speed, 91 acceleration. He should be a stud for our team. Looking through the rest of our picks, Stephen Lowe again was our prized possession there at 81 overall. We got Bastion Kirk, another Cascade Valley guy that fell to us at a 74 overall in the middle of the first round. In the second round, we get Mark Lucas, a 75 overall left guard. We get a 73 overall left guard in the back half of the second round. We get a tight end that's a 68 overall in the third round. We're just trying to find some depth there. Maybe thought he was a little bit better, but his speed and acceleration are good enough that maybe we can bring him along. We got Aaron Peoples in the end of the third round, a 74 overall corner. Gives us great depth. We just traded a corner, so he should be just fine. Joey Dillon's going to be a backup quarterback. Not really expecting him to do anything, but maybe we bring him along. Solid stuff with 76 speed, 83 acceleration. We got Brendan Rose, a 72 overall center. Then we kind of missed here in the 5th and the 6th round. We don't really miss, but it's just, you can't really find crazy ratings that deep in the draft. I mean, looking at the Pioneers again, though, I mean, they mortgaged their future to get really in the top half of that draft, but a 78, 81, 80, 73. They were a team that did not really have a great record. And then in the second round, they get a 77 overall middle linebacker. Probably the best name in the draft, Braylon Saiyan after Super Saiyan. He's going to be absolutely a stud for them. They didn't really hit on the rest of their picks, but I will say getting a 68 overall running back in the 7th round, you can't really be hating on that too much. If we look at the highest overall players, Stephen Lowe was tied with Holloway and Cam Cole for being the highest up there. Marlon Collins, a 3rd round free safety, is an 80 overall with 99 awareness. That is going to be scary to play against. He is 24 years old, so we'll kind of see how that plays out for them. Ellis Daniels goes 10th. He was a 80 overall with 87 speed, 90 acceleration, an outside linebacker. That is disgusting. Again, we've seen Lonnie Downs, Zeke Thurman, Selvey. We talked about a lot of those guys. Ray Walton from Cascade Valley, a dude that I purposely was trying to get, but he goes one pick before me. We get Bastion Kirk instead at 15, but I really would have loved to have Ray Walton. 6'4", 89 speed, 90 acceleration, great hit power. He would have been fun. Jeff James, one of the highest rated tight ends at a 77. You saw Braylon Say and Marquise Peoples goes 9th at a 76 overall. The second quarterback, Scotty White, goes to the Omaha Elks, who were in our division, at a 76. Brenton McCarron, an outside linebacker. Tom Baker, another Cascade Valley guy, goes to the London Wizards, a team that has been really good. They've been in the playoffs and fairly deep in the playoffs every year. But overall, this is a really cool draft. You're seeing a lot of teams get a lot of good players. The Dragons drafted offensive linemen the entire time, and they hit. Let's actually look at their picks. The Dragons, we look at their roster, they're good across the board. They've got their quarterback, they have their running back, they have their receivers. They're good across every position, and you could go best player available, but he decided to go offensive line the entire way, which is smart because now he has depth in case there's an injury, and when those guys come up for big contracts, he'll have some guys that can step in and fill in their spots. He gets a 75, a 74, a 74, 73, a 71 in his first couple of picks, and then a 65 and a 64. But again, across the board, he probably had one of the stronger drafts from an O-line perspective. Nobody hit like he did. And if we take a step back and kind of look at our roster, we have Lamar for the foreseeable future. When his contract is up, we'll figure out if we either keep him or we maybe have Joey Dillon upgraded by that point, or maybe somebody else comes in and takes over at the QB spot. We've got Devontae Wilbur at halfback in the Jahmyr Gibbs trade we talked about a little bit earlier. Him and Robinson should be a really good thunder and lightning sort of punch that we have. Ebner in case somebody gets hurt. The wide receiver, Jamar Chase, Quinn Johnson, DJ Chark, Jarvis Horn is finally going to get an opportunity to show up this year. Does his route running get better? We'll work on that. But I really feel good about where our team is at. We probably won't keep John Fitzpatrick. We probably end up letting him go. I think Sample ends up being our tight end 3. Albert is still pretty good. He's got better ratings right now than Sample. But again, we needed somebody to really figure out what happens if one of these guys goes down. From an O-line perspective, we only have Orlando Brown to left tackle. We'll move one of our guys over. Probably Schaefer is going to slide over, or Lucas to the left tackle spot. We have Samalo for at least another season or two. At center, we've got Hainsey behind our guy Creed Humphrey. Brandon Rose, though, a very good pick. Kind of surprised by how good he was. Humphrey's in a contract year. If his contract is too crazy, it doesn't really fit what we're trying to do, maybe one of these guys takes over and we try to trade Creed Humphrey. We'll figure that part out. At right guard, Spencer Brown, Saldivari. Again, we're pretty solid there. Not great, but there's work to be done. At right tackle, we have McGlinchey. We have enough depth in a couple of these positions where we can move somebody over to, fill in the spot. And if somebody goes down and gets hurt, we have enough depth again to be good. So I'm not mad at that. Left hand, we got Boogie Basham. At right hand, we're going to have Gordon Toon. Gordon Toon is a stud. We're going to probably move Adebawar over to the left end spot. Defensive tackle, we're good here. This is probably the best defensive line we've had ever, I think, in terms of Oklahoma City Bison's tenure. At left outside linebacker, Gaddafi Owe. Middle linebacker, we have Jeremy Harris, since Cole Holcomb ended up getting traded. And then right outside linebacker, we have Stephen Lowe, which means that Gross Matos is probably going to slide over to the middle linebacker spot. He's a little bit faster than what Jamichael White is, but Jamichael White has better acceleration. I kind of might get him a little bit more playing time. So I think Jamichael White and Jeremy Harris might be our middle linebackers of the future. Then we have Toller behind him, Jamel Dean, Nate Hobbs, Isaiah Rogers, Trent McDuffie, the guy we just pulled in, Jacorian Bennett, Wilcox. We will at some point move on from probably Isaiah Rogers, if I had to imagine. Jamel Dean is kind of a guy we want to keep here for life. Rogers will probably get traded at some point because he's very attractive still with his contract and with his speed and his age and his rating. That gives McDuffie our CB3 spot. Let's Jacorian Bennett play in a CB4, and then Wilcox can be there along with Peoples. I honestly feel like we're in a really good spot. And if you look at safety, Jabril Peppers in the last year of his deal, he potentially could be traded. Bastion Kirk could become a day one starter for us right here, right now. My only fear, though, is that he's a little bit lower in man rating. He's a little bit lower in zone coverage rating, but I think we can mask that enough to be, for the most part, pretty fine. And then a strong safety, CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's still great. His contract's still good. We do have Jordan Battle. It's kind of our insurance policy. We signed him to a 6-year deal. He will at some point take over for CJ, but not until CJ's contract is gone. Now, I know we covered a lot of different trades and moves that happened in the offseason, but I'm going to tell you real quick about This giant-headed dragon over here. Pause if needed. That made some big trades. If you've played Madden at all, you know that Tariq Woolen is disgusting. He's 6'4", he's really fast, and yeah, he just went to the Tokyo Dragons, which I'm glad they're not in my division anymore. We could potentially see them in the postseason. We don't play them in our regular season schedule this year, but they got Tariq Woolen. He's 6'4", and they now have him in 99 speed, 97 acceleration. This is not really a dude that you want to see right now. This is a big power move for the Dragons. They have a really good defense already. If he's in zone, crazy. If he's in man, he'll probably still catch up to you. Now, every season you come into the franchise, especially our 32 user league, you got to figure out, okay, what are you trying to do here, buddy? You trying to go for 4 wins? You trying to go for 7 wins? You trying to go for making the playoffs? You trying to win the Super Bowl? Let's just try to make the playoffs, okay? I would love to win the Super Bowl, but I think making the playoffs, we have a pretty tough schedule, which we're going to talk about here in a second. Let's go ahead and just commit to this. Now, our team schedule, we're playing the Golden Eagles today. We'll check their roster in a second, but then we go back at home versus the Oilers. On a road, we go against the Nighthawks and the Huskies. We go back home for 2 games, the Blues and the Orbits. We go an away game against the Wizards, home against the Aviators. I believe we lost against them last year, one of our 2 losses in the regular season. We then go to the Elks, to the Condors, back home versus the Elks. I feel like every year we end up playing the Elks like 2 out of 3 weeks in a row. It's kind of pretty wild right there. Back home against the Black Knights, finally getting a bye week in week number 13, and it's at the Desperados, at the Armadillos. Then we go home versus the Thunderbirds, Huskies. That'll be a great rematch, right, by the way, against the Thunderbirds. And then finishing the season, I believe, again for the 2nd year in a row against the Black Knights, a very tough team. And the Black Knights ended up getting Trey Morning, who was a Chicago Aviator, the first quarterback off the board, I think, in the previous year's draft. Comes down into our division. A little nervous about that. Now we get to our first press conference of the year. They say, look, it's opening day and a fresh start for every team around the league. You'll be facing the Golden Eagles. What is the key to victory? I'm going to say, look, stifling defense. I believe in our defense every single year. We retooled. We got rid of a lot of people. Marlon Humphrey, got him up out of here. Trent McDuffie, he's in here now. We got rid of a lot of people. Will our defense still be the same? I hope so. And so you mentioned making their offense uncomfortable, but where does that really start? To me, it's disrupting the pass. You disrupt the pass, you make them one-dimensional, you'll be fine. But again, this is an opponent that can pass and can run, so we got our work cut out for us today. So our goal here is simple. Beat the Golden Eagles, allow less than 200 yards passing. Probably not going to hold him under 200 yards passing, whether it's a win or a loss, but still, we're going to try to win the game regardless. So taking a look at the Golden Eagles roster, Quentin Nelson, one of the best guards, one of the best offensive linemen in the entire league. They still have Dalvin Cook. At 30 years old, he's still 93 speed, which is kind of wild to me. Got to imagine that kind of drops off a little bit after this season, but we'll kind of see. Marshawn Lattimore, a stud. L'Jarius Sneed, a stud. But if you're looking at this, even going down here to Tyron Smith, his top guys are kind of 28, 29, 30 and above. That's going to be good. He's in a window right now to win, but he's going to have to retool pretty quickly. At QB, he has that man the Dallas Cowboys fans love, but also love to hate. Dak Prescott will be his starting quarterback. Reese Graham is actually a rookie quarterback that's 5'8", 206, but he's got pretty good stats across the board. Could be the QB of the future for him as well. I'm not sure if we see him today. Dalvin Cook and his brother James Cook in the backfield, along with first-year guy Damian Carney. We go to wide receiver. He's got Zay Flowers, always tough to guard. Wes Watkins, you know about him if you play Madden. That dude is a go-route machine. Good luck covering him. I'm sure he'll score a touchdown or 2 against us today. Rashee Rice, Van Jefferson, Trey Palmer. Not the most dangerous receiver core in the world, but again, some sleepers here. Zay's a stud, Quez Watkins is a stud, Rashee Rice is a stud. None of these guys are jumping off the pages as a true number 1, but together, they're kind of like Voltron. You put them together, they're tough to stop. I always like to see what their secondary is like. Again, we saw Lattimore, we saw Sneed. That's a really good 1-2 punch across the board. Sidney Brown is this 3, Hodges Tomlinson, Courtney Copper is a rookie coming in, 93 speed, 95 acceleration. Zone coverage, not great. Man coverage, okay for a rookie. And then Bernard Converse, who probably won't even see any playing time today. And then Derek Forrest at his free safety. Behind him is going to be as well Isaiah Simmons. At strong safety, one of the best users in the world. If you're controlling Isaiah Simmons, he can be a tough person to stop. Also new for our team this year is we're switching offensive playbooks from Denver to Buffalo. Kind of trying to find something to mix things up a little bit. A lot of people that play in this league also watch my live streams, so they kind of know in certain formations the type of stuff I like to run, which makes my games even more difficult to win. So the fact that I won 15 games last year is wild. It will be really hard to repeat this season. So we're switching playbooks. I have not used this against anybody that's a user. We're going to see how this works. But defensively, I ran the Rams last year. I'm going to keep running that. I really like that set and that playbook and the formation, so we'll give that another shot this year too. Now, in terms of our actual lineup, look, we made a lot of adjustments this offseason. We moved guys, we traded guys, we signed guys, we demoted some guys. We did a whole lot. Offensive line is still pretty solid. Orlando Brown, Samalo, Humphrey, Lucas, McGlinchey. I don't really love either one of our left tackle, right tackle spots, but I think it should be okay. We have Trey McBride, we've got Albert O, and we've got Sean Sample coming in as our 3rd string tight end. But the 1, 2, 3 we have here of Lamar, Devontae Wilbur, who ended up getting a superstar X Factor during a training camp drill, and Jamar Chase as our 1, 2, 3 there is fantastic. We're going to have Quinn Johnson as wide receiver number 2. This is a big year for him to really prove himself. He's on a long contract. How does he ultimately handle that? DJ Chark Jr. comes in. We got Jalen Guyton. Jarvis Horde is wide receiver number 4. And I hope that he really proves himself, but he's got an opportunity to shine in the return game and in some sort of gadget plays we have designed this year. And defensively is honestly the biggest real wild card for us. We still have Jabril Peppers, still have CJ Gardner-Johnson as our top safeties out there lining things up. We've got Stephen Lowe from Cascade Valley. We've got Jeremy Harris, who is a fantastic player this year, but we got rid of Cole Holcomb in the trade, so really it's Jeremy Harris' show with Stephen Lowe kind of patrolling the middle, sometimes with him, depending on the formation. Daffy always over there in the left outside linebacker. And then you look at our corners, Jamel Dean, Nate Hobbs, Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie's actually going to be moved to CB number 2. I'll fix that in a second. And then you're going to have Jacorian Bennett at 5, Isaiah Rodgers at 4. This is a really deep cornerback spot, but we don't have Marlon Humphrey to lean on. So Jamel Dean has to step up big this year, as do the other guys behind him. But the spot that I'm probably the most excited about is our defensive line. We got George Toon coming in this our squad this year, who should be fantastic. Boogie Basham has been great, but there really hasn't been someone opposite of him on the other side to really help the defense really just get after the quarterback. I'm hoping George is that missing piece because we brought Dalvin back. We got Poona Ford back. Our guys should be good across the entire defensive line. We just need a lot of more production than last year. All right, here we go. On defense first to start year 3 of the GGBFL. This is not a good look. Defense, please. All right, defensive line, what are we doing? I do want to say a big shout out to Cosmic Wombat for winning the Mervin McMervin Award. It is in the mail in production. It is coming his way, and I think it's going to be the best trophy we've had. I'll have a picture of it here shortly. That's mine. Let's go. Jamel Dean. Marlon Humphrey who? Let's go. I like a comeback route to me. All right, our first offensive possession. He immediately pinched that line, but we got Devontae Wilbur, so we're going to try to get a couple of yards off that. He might be used in the safety out here. Come on, Lamar. God, if he could turn that corner, he's got at least 10, 15 yards. Big third down to 5, coming out here in the pistol. He's blitzing. That's a safety. Oh my God, I'm surprised it wasn't a safety. He wants to go tight end. Tight end is unavailable. Can't believe he threw that. That's mine. Let's go. Can't believe he threw that. Let's go. Let's take a little run. I need him to fear Lamar running. There we go, Devontae. Show him the moves, Devontae. That's why we traded for you. Beautiful. What a ball, Lamar. What a ball. Run at him, Devontae. Run at him. Let's go. And he's just running through defenders. I'm here for it. This is my kind of running back. Let's go. All right, he's playing this right side pretty heavy here. Uh-oh, not even going to entertain it. I had underneath, but I'm getting rid of that. And he's got hands, and he said, get off me. Ooh, there we go, Isaiah. All right, big second down. Be smart here. Oh, my God. That was such a risky throw, but I am glad I threw it. Let's go. First touchdown of year 3, Devontae Wilbur. Wouldn't want it any other way. That's mine. Let's go, Jabril. No, Dak Prescott hit it like that. Let's go, Devontae. Find a gap, keep pushing forward. Let's go. Big fella, we see you. Let's go, Trey McBride. Devontae's in there. I am so happy we traded for you, big fella. All right, this has been a really good first half for us. We got to keep the pressure, though. Got to do better offensively. Being efficient. That's not a good play to start. All right, we're heading up to the 2-minute warning here. Man, wide open space is Jamar Chase. You leave it here with something. Let's go. Big drive. All right, wide open spaces to the left. Lamar's out of here. Got the first down. Big play. I'm here for the 4 yards. Hey, Devontae Wilbur might be the greatest back in Oklahoma City Bison history. Jahmyr Gibbs, who? All right, something I've noticed is he likes to run a lot of like QB draw-based stuff with his quarterback. So we're going to see what he does here. Wow, we sold. He's going to juke back inside. Oh, he celebrated? Down 21? It's a bold move. Big hit. Boogie bashed him. Way to get out there and finally get a sack. Saw it. I just didn't get there. That's on me. Yeah, he lost so many yards going to the sideline there. He could have had 3 or 4. He's passing. His running back is gassed. Dude, he's going to fumble again. His quarterback's taking too many hits. He's going middle. Wide open. Wide open. Good route. Good hit. Stephen Lowe. Stephen Lowe didn't even have to look at the ball, knew to bat it. Legend. What? Why did he go over there? No way he actually pushed through that. Why did my defensive end, when I pinched the line, go over to the right-hand side? Cut back Isaiah. Oh, Quinn Johnson torched him off the line. Let's go. Woo! Thank God he pressed, because that opened that up big time. Huge play. I'm there. I'm there. Let's go. Holy. Jeremy Harris. Can he do it? The longest INT touchdown in his career. Let's go. What a play. Stud. All right, with the rock. Let's try to get some good stuff going here. Oh, my God. Devontae, you are a grown man. And I am beyond happy I traded for you. 4 touchdowns on the day. Holy. We had a lot of new pieces coming into the Oklahoma City Bison today, and I didn't know what to expect. The Mexico Golden Eagles are a very good team. And look, our defense had an answer for pretty much everything they had today. Quez Watkins didn't beat us over the top. And our corners, even though we let Marlon Humphrey go to a different team, they look kind of good today. And Lamar, looking like Lamar out there. Recapping the stats, Lamar had a perfect QBR. He didn't really have to do a ton today, but he was efficient. 7 for 9, $185, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers by Lamar. I'm here for that. We saw the 5'8" Reese Graham rookie quarterback come in, the 3rd one off the board this year in the draft. $167, 11 for 19, 2 interceptions. Dak looking like it might be time for retirement. 2 for 8, 3 interceptions. It was not a good game by either quarterback, but he saw some promise in Reese Graham, I'll be honest. On the ground, Dalvin Cook, 20 for 121 and 1 touchdown, 4 broken tackles. He had some nasty jukes, some great plays, and honestly, he would have had more yards had he not accidentally accepted a penalty instead of declining it. But Devontae Wilbur was him. 12 for 121, 3 rushing touchdowns. He was killing it. Yards after contact is a crazy stat to me. 77 yards by him were after contact. We found our future running back. On the receiving side, Quez Watkins did get a lot of yards today, 5 for 92. He's really tough on crossing routes, did have a pretty egregious drop, but overall, I feel like we kept him in check from what he could have possibly done against us. Rashee Rice was great. Wilbur, 3 for 27, 1 touchdown. I didn't expect anything from him in the receiving game, but he was pretty good. McBride had 2 for 57. Quinn Johnson had 1 for 54 and a tutty. We didn't have to pass the football a lot today because the running game was so good and our defense was electric, and honestly, it showed, but I want to see what this passing offense can do a little bit more. On the defensive side, Trent McDuffie, the new guy coming in, he had a tall task, right? A lot of people are looking at Jamel Dean as Marlon Humphrey replacement, but really they're looking at Trent McDuffie because they know he's the guy that is supposed to be the guy of the future. And what did he do as the number 2 today? 10 tackles. I'm here for that. Trent McDuffie was great in the pass game, in the run game. He was all over the field. From a getting to the quarterback perspective, Poona Ford got 1. Boogie Basham got 1. Sidney Brown got 1 for them. But I like how our defense played. Interception, CJ Gardner-Johnson dropped an egregious one, but again, he still had 2 today. Jamel Dean, Jeremy Harris, and Jabril Peppers all got 1. One of those going 92 yards, by the way, from Jeremy Harris for a touchdown. I'm just really happy how the defense played. I mean, we have a lot of new guys on this team trying to figure out what the role's going to be doing. We were getting guys in the backfield. We were seeing everybody just really get active out there, and that's what I wanted to see. Stephen Lowe did not play every down, but he still managed to have 5 tackles and be disruptive in the run game and in the pass game. He had a pass deflection they didn't count, but they don't want him to be great. I like how this defense is playing. Some things we got to figure out, some scheme adjustments we'll kind of make, but overall, this defense looking kind of nice. Be safe, be smart, tell somebody you love them. Catch you guys on the next one.